Unsung Murder Ballads is a true crime podcast, and as such, we will be discussing topics that are disturbing, graphic, and often violent in nature. So this is not for children under the age of 13.
But you know this because you did start playing this episode. So here are some things you might not know about us.
We are going to be critical of mistakes made by both criminals and law enforcement.
We're going to express our views on things that you might not always agree with.
We will occasionally go on an off-topic tangent.
And we're going to use dark humor to express ourselves now and then.
So if you're easily triggered, this might not be the podcast for you.
However, if this is your cup of tea, then raise your pinky finger while you sip and join us for this week's horrific case, you sick bastards.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Unsung Murder Ballads. This is episode 158. I am Janus Dead.
And I'm Joyous Dead.
All right, so thank you everyone for joining us again because we missed Joyous last week, so she was under the weather. So we're glad to have you back.
Yeah, missed y'all. I was dying, but I'm back.
It's crazy. And you said it wasn't that sickness that's going around because that wiped out my kitchen at
No.
work. Like I was literally Sunday football. We were short 3 people in the kitchen.
Woof.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I had a migraine. That's just a me problem.
Yeah. So that's good. At least you're not contagious.
Yes, but my boyfriend I think he had what was going around, so
Ooh.
he was having a violent time as well.
Wow. That's a rough
We were just
household.
both deeply unwell. It was intimate in a way.
Yeah, I guess. I remember taking care of my sick significant others in the past. So,
Yeah, it was just cute. We could take turns throwing up. It's
yeah.
so beautiful.
We take
Isn't
turns
that romantic?
we took turns holding the bucket for each other.
Isn't that so
So
romantic?
amazing. In a weird way,
Anyway,
I was going to say, in a weird way, this ties into my question leading into this episode. In a weird way.
bizarre. Okay.
Kind of, sort of. The
All
question
right,
is,
take us away.
as a teenager, how late did your parents ever let you sleep in?
As a teenager on the weekends, I don't think they ever got me up.
Oh,
I think they let
really?
me sleep in as late. Yeah,
Wow.
no.
Okay. Lucky you. Holy shit. I
I
would.
mean, what were they going to get me up for? But the thing is, I was a responsible kid. I was self-motivated.
Right. I was the oldest of 4 siblings, so there was no sleeping in. There really wasn't. I shared a bedroom with my brother. So,
Oh.
yeah, so I
Okay,
didn't.
the fair, but that wasn't your parents, was it? That was your brother.
No, it was the household. Like there was no way you were sleeping through it. So that's
Yes.
interesting. I'm just surprised they let you sleep in. So here's that leads into my next question then. At what point do you think they would have been concerned enough before you like got up that they would come to check on you? Like how many hours would have to pass before they were like, "Oh my God, is Joyous dead?"
Hey, I see what you did there. Um, Probably like noon.
Okay, noontime. All right. So
Noon or like maybe like 2 o'clock. Like sometime in between there would be like, hey, you good?
they would let you sleep through lunch, but not dinner.
Right, because it was usually I was fending for myself
Okay.
for like breakfast, lunch.
Okay.
I was a responsible kid. Like it's not like they had to be like, Joyous, get up and do your homework. Like I didn't need anyone to tell me to do that.
Right. And knowing you as a kid, you were probably doing your homework before you even went to bed. Let's be honest.
That's a fact.
So, unfortunately, tonight the case we're covering, even if her parents had checked on her as soon as they arrived home from work or whatever, it was already too late for this girl.
Oh no.
Yeah, so this is the case of Rebecca Watts. And I'm going to assume you've never heard of this case because you've never heard of any
You
cases.
would be correct.
So Rebecca Becky Watts was born on June 3rd, 1998, which amazingly was my birthday when I was in the military. That was my last year in the military. So,
Damn.
yeah, I'm old. Becky was a quiet and shy girl. She had a close circle of friends and a deep attachment to her family, especially her older brother Daniel. Now, her parents divorced when she was 3, and people who knew Becky described her as sweet, reserved, and thoughtful. They said that she was beautiful on both the inside and the out, and she was a peacemaker, a kind and caring friend, and a loving daughter. And she wasn't the type of teenager who would just disappear without any kind of explanation. Now, Becky lived with her father, Darren, and her stepmother, Angie, in the St. George area of Bristol in the United Kingdom. At 13 years old, Becky had been bullied regarding her weight, which then led to her dealing with anorexia.
Oh,
Yeah, that's tough. I hate that. That's such a tough time. And
it is such a tough time, and kids, they just haven't developed a sense of morality yet. That like, just don't fucking bully people.
yeah, that sense of empathy. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a song, and I highly recommend anyone listen to it, by an artist out of the UK named Ren, R-E-N, called Dominoes. And this song, when it starts off, it's got this kind of cool, groovy, almost like you could dance to it. But then as the lyrics go on, you realize he's singing about bullying and self-image, and it's amazing. By the end of that song, if you're not at least tearing up, there's something wrong with you.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a really, really good song. So
Classic Janus mentioning Ren.
I love Ren. He's like my favorite artist right now.
Hell yeah.
So Becky did leave school for a time after this bullying, and she did eventually resume attending her classes as she tried to rebuild her confidence and navigate the typical challenges of adolescence. Now, we're going to discuss this break from her studies later, but for now, just put that in your back pocket.
All right. Put it in there.
In 2015, Becky was 16 years old, and she was dating a guy named Luke, who was just a year older than she was. On February 18th of that year, Becky went to a get-together with friends and stayed at one of these friends' houses, and she returned home early on the 19th. She spent part of that morning talking to her stepmother, Angie, who, as someone with multiple sclerosis, had a doctor's appointment that morning, and she left at 11:15 a.m., approximately. Later that day, when the family was home, when Becky didn't emerge from her room, at first no one panicked. They thought the same thing most people do. She's a teenager. She's probably just sleeping in. She had a long night last night.
Or like they knew she had come home, right? They talked to her in the morning, so she's probably just in her room wanting some alone time.
Possibly, yeah. However, by that afternoon, something felt wrong because there were no signs of her at all. In fact, the only thing they were hearing was silence.
Yeah, that's weird.
So when anyone tried to call her, nobody was answering her phone. So they went into her room and she wasn't there. There was no note or anything like that either. In fact, the door was still
weird.
And the door was still closed, which was unusual according to her stepmother. So as they're looking about, nothing's missing. All her essential items are there. Her phone charger, her makeup, things like that, even her glasses. So
Weird.
she just, at this point, just vanished. Within hours, the family was checking with friends and messaging group chats, and no one had seen her or heard from her. In fact, the last person that had heard from Becky was her boyfriend Luke via text.
Well, I'm glad they at least like have contact with all these people.
Right. I mean, that's good. I mean, and again, like, that's a good sign that they know who their daughter's friends are.
Mm-hmm.
So by the early evening, Darren and Angie called the Avon and Somerset police, and they started a missing persons investigation. The initial search focused on the immediate area around the family home. Initial inquiries focused on the belief that Becky had disappeared after leaving the family home, based on statements given to police by her stepbrother Nathan Matthews and his girlfriend Shauna Hoare, Hoare, and it is pronounced Hoare. That
is a tough one.
Yeah, I'm not being a dick on that one. That's actually her last name.
That's tough, man.
I was looking at that like, man, why wouldn't you change your family name? But hey, whatever.
These Brits.
Right? And both her stepbrother and his girlfriend were at the house at the time that she left. They said they hadn't seen Becky. They just heard the door slam and assumed that she had left.
Oh, that doesn't sound like something Becky would do, but...
Right. I mean, maybe. Who knows? Maybe if she's having an argument with someone, yeah. So officers began making inquiries. They started checking CCTV footage wherever they could, and they began mapping Becky's last confirmed movements. But quickly, investigators noted something important. No one could actually confirm that Becky ever left the house. Her phone wasn't active. Her social media wasn't active. Her bank accounts went completely untouched. So a yeah, exactly. It's weird, right? If you're a teenage girl and you're gonna go out, you're not gonna use your phone. You're not gonna log. You're not gonna take out any. You know what I
Like,
mean?
not use your phone at all is crazy.
Right. So something's up. So a missing persons specialist was brought in immediately, and police spoke with everyone in Becky's orbit. Among the people interviewed, of course, was Nathan Matthews, her stepbrother. Now, he was 28 years old and quiet and unassuming. And he and his girlfriend, Shauna Hoare, didn't live that far away. In fact, their relationship started when he was in his early 20s and she was only 14.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, that's fucked.
I hate that.
Nathan claimed that he hadn't seen Becky that day. Like, he hadn't physically seen her. He said that he had been at home doing errands and he didn't have much contact with her normally as it was. And his interview didn't raise any immediate alarms. But detectives noticed something in his manner. He was stiff and his answers sounded rehearsed. Now, nothing actionable, but they kept him on their radar.
Yep.
Within days, the search for Becky dominated local news. Social media campaigns were out there. The police were briefing the news at all times, and it was all the same questions. Where is Becky? The community, they were out there. They were searching parks and the riversides and the woods. But despite the massive effort, no credible sightings appeared. Then detectives received a development that changed the direction of their investigation entirely. During a routine re-interview, inconsistencies emerged from the statements of Nathan Matthews and his girlfriend Shauna Hoare.
Interesting. Didn't rehearse well enough, I guess.
Yeah, they're not very bright. They really aren't. And again, we appreciate stupid criminals. I just wish we could stop stupid criminals before they did stupid things.
Truly.
What's that comedian that has an album called You Can't Fix Stupid? That's what this makes me think of.
Yeah, you really can't.
So Nathan's timeline had subtle discrepancies, while Shauna's description of that morning conflicted with his account of what happened that morning. And again, small things, but investigators know that small things add up.
That's right.
When placed against the lack of any sightings of Becky, investigators began feeling the pressure of time. With nothing to go on, they went back to her home and did a second search. But this time they weren't going into it with the idea that, oh, it's just a girl who might have left. Now they're thinking something else may have happened. This time, they noticed a smear of blood on the door frame to her room. And in that blood was a fingerprint.
Oh, well, there you go.
Right? Like, first off, how do you miss that?
And just like it's almost comical to have missed that.
Yeah, like, I get it. Unless they didn't walk into her room when they were told she was missing, it's just weird to me that no one noticed it the first time.
Yeah.
Just saying. I mean,
It would be weird that they hadn't even looked in her room for like evidence that might tell them where she might have gone.
Right, but her family might have. But it's even
that.
It's even smart, like, weird to me that they didn't catch it.
You're right. It is weird.
It's weird. So the blood was tested and it was Becky's. And I'll give you 3 guesses as to who the fingerprint belongs to.
Her brother.
Her stepbrother, exactly. So with what little they had, police arrested Matthews and Hoare. And it's so weird to say that, right? Police then revisited Matthews and Hoare's home. And once they did, they smelled the strong scent of cleaning products.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The craziest part of this is that the house is cluttered and not exactly clean, but the bathroom was scrubbed and sterilized.
Oh dear. Yeah, we know what that means.
And all the items in that bathroom were like unnaturally arranged. Like they had moved everything from one side to the other and just crammed it in one corner. So they had the rest of
That's
the room to work in.
Oh.
So they didn't
Oh,
even,
so it's like recently cleaned.
right, they didn't even bother to put things back where they should have been.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
Especially because it's like some time has passed, right?
Yeah, it's been a couple days at this point.
Oh, just a couple days though.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
So the police kept digging and then they found receipts from a nearby Home Depot like type store.
Mm.
So they go there. And surveillance footage captured Nathan's car on the afternoon of Becky's disappearance.
Mm.
When he was initially interviewed, he said that his car was parked outside his house the entire day.
Okay. There we go. Clear
Right.
lie.
So the detectives now had confirmation that Nathan had left the house, but they were like, so they went back to him and they're like, why lie about something so simple? And they decided to search the vehicle itself, which again, that
Mm-hmm.
should be obvious, but here we are. Inside the vehicle, they found traces of material that led them to take the next step, which was a full forensic search of their property.
Shit.
On the 2nd of March, police executed a major search warrant of the house of Nathan and Shauna. They focused on the attic, the garden, and an outbuilding at the property connected to theirs.
Outbuilding, very suspicious.
Yes. The next day, on the 3rd, they found Becky's dismembered body on that property.
Oh, God.
Yeah. We're going to get into
Still
that.
there?
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into that in a little bit, too. I'm kind of saving all of the info on this for one moment.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the case shifted immediately from a missing persons to a homicide case, and it would become one of the most high-profile murder investigations of that year.
Wow.
Under questioning, Nathan initially denied everything. And detectives use...
Huh.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, like this is just like the most smoking gun.
Yeah, like
My brother in Christ. How do you think you're not going to get convicted of this?
your bloody fingerprint in her blood. Come on.
And her dead body at your house.
Yeah, on your property, exactly. So detectives used strategic silence, evidence confrontation, and inconsistencies in his story to keep trying to interrogate him. And eventually, Nathan gave a version of events that minimized his intent but admitted involvement.
Interesting.
And again, I'm going to get into that in a little bit because it's hilarious and I
Mm-hmm.
just want to keep it all together.
Gotcha.
Police did not accept his story. And when I get to it, you're going to see why, because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Forensic evidence, the timeline, and behavioral analysis all told the police a completely different story than he was telling. Now we're going to jump around a little bit. Becky's funeral took place at St. Ambrose Church in Whitehall, Bristol on April 17th, 2015, and was described by her family as an occasion to celebrate Becky's life. The service
I
that...
mean, it's amazing if they were able to really do that
what
because it's so heartbreaking.
Yeah, because what blows my mind is we're talking about her father's wife's son that killed Becky.
Yeah,
That's just a hard pill to swallow.
really is.
Now, the service that followed was a private interment for her family and friends at the Avon View Cemetery. So at least they honored her, and I don't know how incredibly hard that must have been for them. I really don't.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable.
On June 22nd, Hoare, who was originally charged with perverting the course of justice, was finally charged with murder.
Hell yeah.
Now, Matthews and Hoare were also charged with conspiracy to kidnap, preventing the lawful burial of a body, and possession of an illegal weapon. There were also
Okay.
4 other unrelated counts of making indecent images of children.
Oh,
My guess is they probably took photos of her because she is only 16.
Right. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, they don't go into too much detail. This is Britain. They really do honor privacy a lot more than say we do here. So
That's good. And indecent could just mean like violent.
that's true too.
They could just be like, you know, pictures of them, her, as they're hurting her.
Possibly. Now, Matthews was also charged on unrelated counts of sexual assault and voyeurism, as well as with murder.
Whoa.
So again, I don't know. Like
Okay.
they
I
must have
mean,
found something on his laptop or something. They don't go into too much detail.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, Hoare also faced charges including manslaughter, false imprisonment, and again, perverting the course of justice. So on March 6th, 4 other people were arrested and charged with assisting and
Whoa.
assisting an offender and having been accused of helping to hide or dispose of Becky's body.
Whoa.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, what?
So their schedules were the Hoare and Matthews. Their trials were scheduled for later that year, and it opened in October of 2015. The courtroom was full of press, family members, and investigators who had spent months piecing together what happened to Becky. It was the prosecution's case that Becky had been suffocated, and after her death, she had been stabbed 15 times in her bedroom during a sexually motivated kidnapping plot carried out
What?
by Matthews and Hoare. Yeah,
In her bedroom?
in her own bedroom.
God, how did they clean that up? What the fuck?
According to the prosecution, after killing her, Matthews and Hoare put Becky's body into the trunk of their car and then stayed at the house for several hours after family members had returned home to create their alibi.
That's insane. Oh my God.
It's so fucked.
Yeah, to say the least.
Later that day, they drove back to their house, where over the next few days, they dismembered her body using a knife and a circular saw and put the remains into bags and boxes, which were then hidden in a neighbor's shed, which was that outhouse. So it wasn't their
Oh my
property.
God. I can't even imagine doing this over the course of days. These people
Days.
are fucked.
Yes.
This is not just like a crime of passion. Like, this is like, ugh.
Yeah, it's seriously fucked up. Now, Matthews admitted to killing Becky, but he denied that it was murder. He insisted, I don't even know how to say this. He insisted that he had tried to kidnap his stepsister as a way of scaring her into changing what he perceived as her bad behavior.
What the fuck?
Yeah. He
Sounds like she was a good kid.
Yeah, and he's claiming that she did things or hung out with people that he didn't approve of, and he was going to kidnap her to scare her straight, so to speak.
Insane.
But when he tried, the plan went wrong, and he accidentally strangled her, to be precise.
Crazy.
Because, after you accidentally strangle your family member trying to kidnap her, the next logical step is dismemberment, right?
Yeah, logically.
Yeah, I mean, where else do you go, right?
Right. Of course.
Now, Matthews insisted that while the killing was taking place, Hoare, his girlfriend, was actually outside in the garden and she was not involved in any way.
Oh, he's trying to get her off.
Right. So Shauna Hoare also denied being involved in the murder, saying she had no knowledge of it and had played no part in it at all. However, there are text messages between her and Matthews where they talked about kidnapping schoolgirls in the months before this happened.
Ew. What
She
the fuck? I mean, we did start out with this guy's fucked and dated a 14-year-old.
Exactly. She claimed that those text messages were sarcastic and unfortunate under these circumstances.
Girl.
The prosecution claimed that the text messages between them as well as other content found in their home, suggested that they had a shared unnatural interest in attractive teenage females.
Gross.
Now, for clarification, the text messages between these two reads as follows.
Oh, no.
At one point, he sent her a text that said, quote, "Bring me back two pretty schoolgirls," unquote.
Ew.
And then from her to him one day, she said, quote, "Just saw a pretty petite girl. Almost knocked her out to bring her home, LOL," unquote.
Ugh.
Yeah. So clearly there's motive, there's a desire here. There's an act they want to do.
Yeah, they're the minimum fantasizing about it.
Right. And for whatever reason, they chose his stepsister. Like,
Convenience?
I guess, you know what? That's probably the best answer we're going to have because it's not like you're going to get away with it.
It would be harder to kidnap someone off the street than someone who's
Who,
sitting in their bedroom and you're allowed of their house already.
yeah, that's true. Access is, yeah, you're right. That's fucking crazy.
Opportunity, that's all it takes.
The prosecution relied on CCTV evidence of the movements of Matthews and Hoare on the day that Becky was last seen alive and the days that followed. On February 19th, 2015, before going to Crown Hill, which I think is where Becky lived, they were seen at a Tesco supermarket buying batteries, which were allegedly needed for stun guns that they had, which they claimed they intended to use to kidnap her.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Footage from the day after Becky was killed showed Matthews buying the circular saw that was used to dismember her body. And between the 20th
Ugh.
and the 22nd of February, he and Hoare were captured shopping for cleaning products, which was obviously used to clean their bathroom.
And not the rest of their house.
Just the bathroom, which is clearly where they dismembered her. Like, there's,
Yep.
yeah. DNA linked both Matthews and Hoare to the items that were found in the shed along with Becky's remains, and an expert was called in to give evidence who said it would be easier to carry out the dismemberment if more than one person was involved. But I don't know.
Okay.
Based on the fact that it took them days to do it, I don't think more than one of them was involved.
Right, but I don't know. I I think it would be really hard to move someone's whole body, move a body by yourself.
Well, the only thing
So even that.
I'm going to refer back to is the Matthew Hoffman leaf killer case where he killed two women, a boy, and their dog and dismembered their bodies within a handful of hours.
Fair.
So it's possible. I just don't know how. I mean, clearly these two are losers and they're probably not very motivated in general. But
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
who fucking knows? I mean, this expert knows better than me.
agreed. And you know what? Me as well. Prosecutors presented more evidence that Matthews watched quote unquote borderline legal pornography regularly.
Gross.
And this porn showed petite teenage girls, and the jury heard a video about the rape of a teenage girl that was found on the laptop in their home.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. I mean, the dark web or whatever, 4chan, like these sites are disgusting, and he's probably a regular customer, be my guess.
Right. Ugh.
So
Gross.
the defense attempted to portray Matthew's actions as spontaneous, panicked, and lacking intent.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And they attempted to distance Hoare from any active involvement. But the jury
Crazy.
but the jury was not persuaded. On November 11th, 2015, after 3 hours and 27 minutes of deliberation, the jury found Matthews guilty of murder and Hoare guilty of manslaughter. They were both convicted of conspiracy to kidnap, perverting the course of justice, preventing the lawful burial of a body, and the possession of the two stun guns.
Okay.
One report that I found stated, quote, Hoare was convicted of manslaughter because she had participated in a kidnap where any, quote, sober and unreasonable person, unquote, would have known some harm would have come to Becky, unquote.
Right.
So, I don't know. I think she had a more active role, but that's just me.
Right. But I guess if they don't have evidence to prove it, it's not good to try and charge someone with something you can't prove.
Now, the other people that were arrested that we mentioned, two of them were named James Ireland and Donovan Demetrius, and they were cleared of assisting an offender, which was the charge they were arrested on, because they claimed, and there was no way of proving otherwise, that they didn't know what they were storing in their shed. That they were asked if they could put something in there. Yeah.
Okay, I guess, but it was I don't know, man.
It's weird, but I mean, I wouldn't question it too much if, for example, if your dad was like, "Hey, can I keep something in like your storage space?" Okay, have at it. I don't know how much I'd question
Right, if
it.
it was like, hey, like I have like a big container of stuff. It doesn't fit in my space. Can I throw it in there? Yeah, okay, whatever.
Right. So that's what I'm assuming happened here. It was also Donovan's brother Carl, and he had a girlfriend named Jadine. Carl, who actually owned the shed, he was actually given 2 years.
Oh.
And I don't know why, because even though he was insisting that he didn't know the contents, but he was given 2 years and his girlfriend was given 16 months.
Oh.
So it's kind of weird.
It is kind of weird.
So there must have been something else that wasn't out there. That's weird. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't get that one.
Maybe there were some weird incriminating text messages or something.
Maybe. That would make more sense, yeah. But on November 13th, 2015, the judge sentenced Matthews to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 33 years.
Okay.
And Hoare received 17 years in prison for manslaughter.
Okay.
In his sentencing remarks, the judge agreed with the prosecution's belief that the planned kidnapping was for a sexual purpose, and he told Nathan Matthews that he had a fixation with having sex with petite teenage girls and that he believed his girlfriend, Shauna Hoare, had been persuaded to participate in this fixation.
Gross.
He added, quote, "Finally, I should like to pay public tribute to the family of Becky for the dignified way in which they have conducted themselves throughout these proceedings. Hearing the evidence during the trial has been difficult for everyone, but it is plain that it has been an immense burden on the family," unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
Unbelievable to have both the victim and the perpetrator
in your
in your
family?
family.
Yeah, that's fucked.
I
So
can't imagine that marriage,
I honestly, it would,
like the parents' marriage.
yeah, like the first few months at the very least would be really fucked. Because you're both,
Your kid killed my kid.
yeah, and
How do you even deal with that?
you're both just sad for a million reasons. Yeah.
Yes.
So for Becky's family, justice was served, but the loss remained overwhelming. The murder of Becky devastated the community. Her family had to grieve under the weight of the betrayal because the person responsible wasn't a stranger, as we just kind of said. Her father spoke publicly about the unbearable pain of losing a child, and her brother Daniel, who she was close to, had once protected Becky fiercely when she was little, struggled deeply with the loss.
Oh, that is so sad.
In February of 2016, a wooden bench was unveiled in Becky's memory, located in Goats Field, close to her home. The bench, carved by Andy O'Neill, was funded by a Neighborhood Watch partnership. A painted mural was also erected in Becky's memory in a park close to where she lived. In March 2016, her father, Darren Galsworthy, released a memoir which described his daughter's life, her murder, and the subsequent criminal trial for those responsible. The title was originally Becky, the Heartbreaking Story of Becky Watts, but it was later retitled to The Evil Within when it was released on paperback for some reason.
It's a much more enticing title.
Yeah, it's got a darker, more true crime feel to it, yeah.
Yeah.
So Matthews and Hoare lodged appeals against their conviction, but on June 23rd, 2016, the Court of Appeals rejected their applications, saying that there was
Good.
that there was no
Fuck you.
right, There was no reasonable argument that the convictions are unsafe or that the sentences were wrong in principle or manifestly excessive. Following the convictions, there were multiple inquiries into the case, most notably by a group called the Safeguarding Children's Board, and they did a review in 2018. Now, why does this report matter? This is fucked.
Yeah.
This report learned that both of the killers, Shauna and Nathan, as well as Becky, had been known to social services and other authorities.
Oh.
Yeah, in early 2020, the final report was produced, and it found a total of 16 different agencies that had worked with Becky Watts, Nathan Matthews, and Shauna Hoare for a total of 6 years before her murder in February of 2015. However,
The agencies had worked with Becky too?
yeah, like this is the crazy part. These agencies never knew about each other. They had never worked out that all these things were happening. So there were reports and meetings with officials within the government that talked with Becky, talked with Matthews, and talked with Hoare, and they didn't know that the three of them were part of the same family.
That's wild. What like agencies were these? Why were they talking to Becky?
Well, and we're going to get into this a little bit too.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so in January of 2020, Tanya Watts, which is Becky's mother, was horrified to discover that 5 years since her daughter, like here we are, 2020, 5 years since her daughter's death, that Becky had confided in her friend that her stepbrother, Nathan, had sexually abused her as a child.
Oh God, that's awful.
So these government agencies knew this was happening, and yet they still lived together. And then when he was of age, he moved out and in with his own girlfriend. And they did nothing.
That's insane. Like, did her parents never find out? That's insane. That's like,
Again,
oh my God.
they don't normally share this kind of information over there, so it's really tough to say. But
Right, I guess they wouldn't tell us what the investigation found, but
But this report did break down why Becky had left school for that period. Remember I told you to keep it in your back pocket? And,
yep.
and it was regarding the bullying that led to her anorexia. In this report were statements from Becky where she reported that Matthews had chased her up a flight of stairs on one occasion, threatening to kill her.
Oh.
Now, Matthews' relationship with Hoare when she was 14 was also likely in that report. And there's also a report that someone, likely Hoare's parents, had reported that because of their age gap, but nothing was done. And somehow, as previously stated, these agencies never pieced this together to figure out that the three of these people were related and living near one another.
Yeah, it's crazy that these like governmental agencies wouldn't be connected in some way.
Exactly. I mean, it is 2015, but that's not an excuse because we had
Yeah.
computers, we had the internet. I can understand giving them a pass in the 80s or before that.
Right, but no, this is modern day. This is
Well, now for another kick in the ass. On September 1st, 2023, after serving half of her sentence,
Are you kidding me?
Shauna Hoare was released.
Wow, that's a fucking joke.
Part of her condition was that she was not allowed to return to the town of Bristol, but officials have given no details as to any other arrangements for her being released into the community.
That's crazy. She's not even like a sex offender.
They don't give any information on that. No idea. She should be, but she wasn't charged
Like
for
it's
any of that. Now that
I guess she wasn't.
No, her manslaughter, perverting the course of justice, conspiracy to kidnap, none of it was sexual. Yep.
Why is there no aiding and abetting sexual abuse? Why is that not a crime?
Well, she also claimed at least that she was under pressure, coercion, threat. So, I know.
I don't know. Her text really sounded like she was excited about it, so.
Yeah, right? But she also may not have believed he would really have done any of it. I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Right, devil's advocate. There is a chance that she was like, yeah, this guy just has a weird fetish and we're just playing around,
Right.
whatever.
Unlikely in the real world, but it's possible.
It's possible. I mean, this girl's clearly naive and has been groomed since she was 14.
Exactly. And that's younger than people think. Like I know he was
14 is a
20.
baby.
Yeah, 14 is young. Like that, you don't know the world. You think you do, but you don't.
Right, and you barely know anything. You were born yesterday.
Exactly. Well, one good thing is at one point during his prison stay, Nathan Matthews was attacked with a pot of boiling butter.
Let's fucking go.
And when Becky's father heard about this attack, he said, quote, "Karma's a bitch. I'm not sorry it happened. At least Nathan is feeling some of the pain Angie and we feel every day. It's my birthday today, and that's the best present I'll get all day." Unquote.
Hell yeah, brother.
And that is the case of Becky Watts. Unfortunately, it's not that satisfying a case because these fuckers aren't really getting what they deserve. Well, minus the butter.
Right. Well, it's like it's hard. How do you give them what they deserve? What punishment could possibly be what they deserve? I don't know.
I mean, if I ran the world, he'd probably be tortured, but I don't run the world. And it's probably a good thing I don't run the world.
Yeah, probably. But honestly, I think rapists, sexual abusers should be tortured a little bit. But that's just also my hot take.
Right. Did you hear? I don't know. I haven't looked into it too deeply, but I saw in passing an article that Florida is trying to make the sexual assault of children punishable by death.
By death.
Yes. I have to dig deeper.
Damn.
I saw it in passing. It may be fake. I don't know, but I agree with that. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with the death penalty in general.
Yeah, you've always been on the fence on that. I am not. If it's beyond a reasonable doubt, stop wasting our air, food, and water. That's my take.
Very fair. Very fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
the courts have made mistakes, and
They have.
another thing that I think about, even as like, I'm a survivor of sexual violence. I think about how hard it is to prove things like that. How hard it is to have concrete evidence.
Right. But again, if you do and it's beyond a reasonable doubt, get rid of this person.
Right, true. If you have the physical evidence,
Right. Like
yeah, fuck them.
Did you see the article about the Texas, there was some guy in Texas who walked in on someone sexually assaulting his daughter, so he shot and killed him, and they decided not to press charges on him?
I mean, to be fair, when it's something like that, immediately I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm all for that one. So yeah,
right.
It's one of those things, like, obviously he committed a murder, but that's a justified murder.
Right.
So,
and I guess it's like he committed a murder, but then I feel like you would have to press charges or at least investigate to make sure he was actually doing that. And
right.
it's not just this guy using it as an excuse because he killed some guy. I don't know, man.
And they did. And after the investigation, they chose not to press charges. Which it
means that it was definitely right. So
right. I'm all for it.
Take him off this earth, whether they're in prison for life or they're off this earth. It's better that sexual abusers get fucked and
agreed. My thing is
die.
The prisons are overpopulated in some cases, and I think these, especially murderers, again, beyond a reasonable doubt, stop taking up our food, air, water. Get rid of them. Why are we spending money on these people?
Right, and we spend a lot of money keeping people in prison.
Right, and if it was like, if we got some benefit out of it as a society other than keeping them separated from us, I would say, okay, don't execute them, but we're not. And if we do, it's like slave labor, so I'm not for that either. So, I don't know. It's a complicated issue that we're not going to solve right here and now.
This is true.
So, and it's funny because I generally fall on the liberal arguments of most things, but I'm very much for the death penalty. So,
yeah.
But I research a lot of shit like this.
Is that even a liberal opinion?
Yeah, usually.
I actually don't even know the political tilt of that one.
I believe the Republicans are the tough on crime argument, so therefore they're more for an eye for an eye kind of thing, where the liberals are more like, they can be rehabilitated, they can be, we can treat them, we can do this. So that's where I think the arguments lie, and that's why I think I fall more on the conservative side on that.
Fair. I would think I think of like how religious people, like people who follow strict forms of Christianity are very anti-death penalty, and those people tend to be conservative, but they also are not all conservative.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, religion, like, the Christians fall on both sides of the argument, like both sides of the aisle on that one. So I think that
Yeah.
would be an individual personal thing. But who knows? I agree. You tend to hear more about the conservatives being the religious ones because they're more vocal about it.
It's true, yeah.
It's like gun control. They talk about owning guns a lot more than liberals do, but we liberals own guns too. We're just not shouting
Oh
it from the
yeah.
rooftops. Right. So,
Yeah, not posting them on Instagram,
exactly.
posing with them.
We're going to be the surprise when we show up with a gun.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, how I'd prefer it to be. That's my well-regulated
Yeah,
militia.
I don't need everyone to know where I stand on something. So,
Right.
but anyway, that's a long outro. So we'll see you guys next week. Thank you. Once again, I'm Janice Dead,
And I'm Joyous Dead.
and we'll see you next week.
Bye.